Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from a brand new distillery in Germany. This is their inaugural release 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. They started actually distilling in the heart of the city called Dresden, and it's called the Dresdner Whisky Manufacturing Company. So Dresdner Whisky Manufaktur, to be actually honest here. And this is the edition EINS. EINS means one. This is edition one here, made in Germany. And it was a full maturation for 3+ years in Chateau Batailley red wine casks. 46%, not colored, not chill filtered. Yay. 79 euros. That's not cheap, I must admit, for an inaugural release. It's fairly cheap, but for a German whiskey that is 0.7 liters, that's our normal size over here. Often in Germany, many of the new distilleries actually put out their bottles at 0.5 liters and still said, oh, it's 59 euros, which very quickly turns into more than 79 euros for the 0.7. And so that's a little bit of a game they sometimes play with us. Okay, Hellinger 42. 42 is the answer to the most important question of the universe. What the question of the universe is, according to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, may never be known. So they actually named the distillery after that number in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There's a little bit of a whimsical moment at the distillery. All right, so Edition 1, made in Germany, and I have bottle... Oh, I didn't even see this in my bottle. I have bottle number 595 from 2022. I didn't even see this in my German video. That's kind of cool. Maybe you can see that here. Good. All right, very, very good. I'm going to read a tiny little bit on the back. I'm going to try to spontaneously translate from German in English. This is a product that is only available in Germany at the moment. Who knows when they'll be expanding worldwide, I hope. Okay, the first single malt from your own distillery is a milestone and a very special event in the development of the Dresden Whisky Manufaktur. After distilling in our pot stills, this prize-winning new make was matured for more than 3 years in very noble French red wine casks from the Chateau Batailley, from the Bordeaux region in France, and it was it matured into a special whiskey. The full maturation gives it a exceptional color and a recognizable taste. I'm trying to do this on the fly. This whiskey is the beginning of a new generation of Hellinger 2042 single malt whiskeys from Dresden. This mirrors our unique technological precision from our distillation equipment, as well as our special passion and devotion to the handcrafting of the brewing and the distilling of our products. So the master distiller was actually a master brewer before he became a master distiller. So that's actually something very, very nice. So a very, very short moment here for the distillery. They get their malted barley from Eastern Germany. They actually do their own malting. No, they don't do their own malting. I'm sorry. They buy the malted barley. They do mill themselves there. They do the entire mashing themselves. They have a wash back there. They do the fermentation themselves. That's usually about, I think, almost 100 hours, to be honest. I was there last year with like 35 bloggers and vloggers, influencers. I organized different meetups in Germany at different German distilleries, and we make that happen. And we were there last year. That was very, very awesome, to be honest. After that's the wash still, it comes out with the low wines about 23%. They do it a second time, it comes out around between 70 and 73%. They mature at least for 3 years in their different warehouses. One they have on site, a couple other they have a little bit off site there. And they want to actually produce a whiskey that can match or even surpass Scottish single malt whiskeys. I guess that's what I wanted to say there. All right, on the nose, a lot of red berry, raspberries, a little bit of that's good. It's good stuff. I must admit, I like that already. So they say the intensity of the aromas, I'm reading from the website now. First of all, very surprising. And for a 3-year-old whiskey, definitely unsurpassed. The red wine cask with its fruit and berry notes is almost dominating, which is a little bit of a shame because with the first inaugural release of a distillery, you have to decide for a certain style and not of all the other great things you have in the warehouse. So, and therefore we can be excited about further bottlings to come. On the nose, we should have dark, almost dusty cacao powder, dried cherries, a little bit of vanilla and yoguretta. Yoguretta is a white chocolate with strawberry yogurt filling. A little bit of a cigar case with made out of cedar wood. And in the background, there's a very dominant barley note. And I get the barley note a lot, actually. On the palate, cheers. My hand signals. At the very beginning, it's nice, it's oily, it's fruity. There's heat. It's a 3-year-old whiskey. You can't deny that. And then it goes back to that fruity berry, chocolatey type of oily goodness. It's a good whiskey, and there's European oak in there as well, somewhere as well. I get that tannins. It's nice. This is for 3 years of age, almost exceptional. Is it an exceptional whiskey? No. If you compare it to a 12, a 15, an 18-year-old whiskey, no. But for a 3-year-old whiskey, I must say chapeau. I must say respect. Well done. On the palate, once again, dark cacao powder, dried fruits, for example, plums, cherries, raspberries, figs, cooked sour cherries, casks. You have a little bit of red fruit marmalade with cinnamon, a little bit of milk chocolate, some creme brulee with a little bit of rum thrown in there for good luck. Very evident roast moments from the malt. So they probably use like 90% Pilsner malt or pale ale malt, as they sometimes call it in America, and often maybe 10% of that deep roasted Weimann type of moment going on in there. They say they get cedar wood. I don't get the cedar wood. The taste is fairly complex, and just like the taste, it's very, very dominated by the red wine casks that the whiskey was fully matured in. Dried fruits, the berry notes, but also that wood aromatic is very in the forefront. The finish, the roasting flavor of the malt gets a little bit more intensive, and the mouthfeel is drier. Finally, the whiskey actually over the middle of your tongue just kind of warms it out. Great description. That European oak, at least I get a European oak here. Just a brief. Chateau Batailley is a winery in the Palais, appellation of the Bordeaux region of France. 1855, it became one of the only 18 fifth growths of the Bordeaux wine region. So there were 18 of the best of the best of the best chateaus back then. The should I try to say it? The Chinquemes Cruz. My French is so terrible. Who knows that? We have the vineyard extends about 140 acres, which is 57 hectares. 70% of it is Cabernet Sauvignon, 25% is Merlot, 3% is Cabernet Franc, and 2% is a wine varietal I'm learning to know about more and more, Petite Verdot. And Petite Verdot also grows in Virginia, and the Ironclad Distillery in Newport News uses those barrels to actually finish one of the wines in that just reached Germany. I'll be doing in November actually a live stream about the Ironclad Distillery, the maple syrup, the Petite Verdot, the Old Colonel, the what was it, Banner Blend, and the normal. I'm not great at remembering names of all the different distilleries here. So that's that. Okay. I'm giving this a C for a taste. On a good day, it could be a C plus. It's still young though. Value for money, I'm giving this a C minus minus. For uniqueness, 75 €9 is just too expensive. You have another Scotch whiskey or German whiskey is 79 euros. You can get excellent stuff. I can get a Glendronach 15-year-old for 79 euros in Germany. What would I rather drink? Of course, the Glendronach 15 compared to this. All right, but this is the uniqueness grade. What makes this special? This is the inaugural release of a new German distillery that I have visited. I know the owners, I know the distiller, I know the people that work there. I've actually tried their new make, and I enjoy what they're doing and how they're doing it. And I must admit, I'm going to give it an A minus for uniqueness. This is awesome. And my question of the day is, what other new products, I'm using the word products instead of bottlings or whiskeys, have you had from new distilleries recently? A new distillery in this case is less than 5 years of age. It can be in America, it could be in Europe, it could be in Africa, it could be in Asia. Do you know of any new distilleries that are putting products out on the market that you've tried and that you can recommend? Last year we just had 2 distilleries from China make their way and are now importing whiskey over to Germany from China, single malt. We have hundreds of different distilleries in Germany making single malt. And these actually are one of the bigger distilleries of Germany, and expect great things to come in the future. So, what is one of your favorite new distilleries that has opened up in the last 5 years, and one of the products you've tried that you can recommend? I can recommend the Edition EINS, is how we would say it in German, Edition 1 from the Hellinger 42 distillery in Dresden, Germany. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others peoples about this crazy guy over in Germany, often reviewing whiskey you will never see in your life. See you then. Bye-bye.